Hey everybody. So turns out I'm live. I actually didn't mean to go live this early. I'm a few minutes early. I was just setting it up and apparently they have changed the YouTube lives a little bit. So it doesn't come up with the go live button. It goes live a step ahead of time. So guys, give me just a second. I am actually going to first take a quick drink and pull up the chat so I can see everybody. Sorry guys, I'm so thirsty. So right quick, as you're popping on, just say hey where you're watching from. Guys, if you watch on replay, hashtag replay. I just switched over tonight, so this is the first time I'm going live on Friday nights on YouTube at 6 o'clock. I switched from Mondays just because it worked a little bit better with my schedule. Guys, I totally can't talk and do something at the same time. Talk and type, whatever it is. So give me just a sec here. I'm pulling YouTube up. And here we go. Make sure I'm live. There we are. All right, guys, like I said, I don't think anybody's popped on yet. I also did not post a reminder on my page. So I'm just going to real quick go through what we're going to be doing tonight. And like I said, if you watch on replay, hashtag replay, guys. Tonight, we are going to be working with the new, well, it's not new, but, oh, excuse me, with the Climbing Grace decoupage paper by Elsie Lane Art Garage. And we're kind of going to go through all the steps. We're going to do some layering on the decoupage paper so you don't have to paint it in if it doesn't quite fit your space. The paper layers in beautifully. So we're going to go over that. And then I did cut this paper to size. Guys, you've seen me decoupage before. Most of the time I do cut my paper to size. But on the bottom down here, and let me tilt you down just a little bit because I want you guys to be able to see what we're actually working on. But for the bottom down here, I did not cut it to size. It just was not really convenient for me to do that. So instead, I'm going to show you how, this is already dry. I did this actually last week. But we're going to go ahead and show you how to take that excess paper off. So guys, if, like I said, if you're on, just say hey where you're watching from. I sort of feel like I'm all alone here. And we are going to get started. So I'm going to actually bring you directly over the paper so you have a really nice view of it. And, oh, let me turn my ring light on. You guys, I just really was not prepared for it to pop up live this early. Hey, Denise, I'm so glad you're here with me. You know what? I was thinking about you today. So I switched my lives to Friday. I spent the whole day at the store. And I love the t-shirt and sweatshirt that you sent me. I was actually wearing them both together. And I thought I wasn't going to make it home in time either to do this live. And I thought, oh, I have Denise's shirt on. Because I can't wear it ever, whenever, I'm going to bring you directly over. I can't wear it whenever, because I don't want to get paint on it. And I'm so dangerous. And I thought, oh, she'll see me in a shirt, because I've never sent you a picture. Here we go. All right, guys. It's kind of, actually, I'm going to turn it to the side because of the angle on here. You can't see the whole thing. Hopefully. Actually, maybe I can pop you up a little bit. I've got a new tripod also. I'm just all messed up. I've got a new tripod also. So I'm just getting used to it. Okay, perfect. So how's that view? Can you guys see pretty well? There we go. All right, now as long as I don't move the table, which I will inevitably do, I feel like you're going to be able to see everything. I'm going to pull the chats up so I can see you guys really close. I'm going to go up just a little bit more because I'm afraid I'm going to end up having you out of camera range really quickly. Bear with me. I see some more people popping on. I'm so glad you guys made it tonight. I was actually a little bit early, just because, there we go. I'm liking these views. Just because they took away one of the buttons. Here we go. Oh, good. I see some more people on. Hey, Jen. Oh, Jennifer. I hate for you to be on while you're at your family dinner, but that is so sweet that you popped in. I know, Denise, but I was thinking I told my other daughter was with me today. And of course we were at the thrift store, which, hey, Elena, good to see you. Hey, Michelle. Of course we were at the thrift store, after I spent all day stocking in Ardmore, and redoing that entire booth, guys. So if you're local, come on in and see. I've got a bunch of new stuff in. And after I did that vanity with the textured pieces and the stamps, I had to totally go ahead and I had to get more stamps. So now I do have some more stamps in the store. I've got more stuff going out there too, but I've got tons of inventory in. Here we go. All right, guys, so this is Climbing Grace. Like I said, we're going to go through all the steps on the decoupage, and if I still have time, we're going to go back and do the first layer for our old world finish. If I do not have time, we're just going to carry it over and work on it on the next live. I think I'm going to do a start to finish on this piece again. It's hard for me sometimes space-wise to do the start to finishes because they drag out for quite a while, but I kind of like it because I feel like you can see all the steps and really know how to do the updates. I do, Denise. I do have some stamps in. I have 2 script stamps in. I've got some ABC stamps. I have the butterfly stamps. I've got a few different scroll works and like chateau stamps in. I don't have them online yet, but hopefully I'll be getting those added soon. All right, guys, so I just got a quick bottle of water out. I wasn't sure. I was originally intending to paint this in, but I kind of changed my mind and decided to layer it in. So when I layer, I don't like to have this nice straight line on here because while it's not a huge amount, it's not a huge difference like in the, what am I trying to say? The paper is higher than the table, obviously, because you're decoupaging it on. So it creates that line. If you've ever decoupaged, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When I layer over it, that line is going to show through and you'll see this weird straight line going under it. So since I'm going to layer it, I'm actually just going to take some water here and I'm going to run it down the edge of this paper. And I do have 2 coats of primer on here. And I'm putting this in because I want to know, I think I'm going to come right about here. I want to take some more of this off. That's going to go under here. Yeah, that's perfect. Far enough over. So I want to make a torn look on the edge because that helps kind of hide it better. And the easiest way to tear and to keep it consistent where you want it torn is to just put a layer of water on there. Then we're just going to go and tear all of this off. So see how easy it tears? Oops. And I probably should have, actually, I'm not even going to worry about that part because I don't really want it so, I should have wiggled that line anyway, instead of doing it straight down because that's just going to make it more obvious, but it's okay. And you can go back and put more water on it whenever you want to. There we go. All right, so now I have a nice torn line, but I do want to, there we go. I do want to take off, wait, I'm going to grab my scissors here. If I have any like extra frayed pieces, which it's not really a big issue with this type of paper, but when you're using that fiber paper, these frayed edges will kind of ball up. So I'm just gonna quickly take some of those off. And I just ripped the paper there, trying to cut that one off. There we go. If you have any strings, I like to cut those off, but I think this is pretty well exactly what I want. And make sure that I don't ruin my other piece that I'm gonna put on here. All right. So I just wanna lay this out here, kind of like this. And I'm gonna start decoupaging from this side over here. Now, this has the potential to tear what I'm about to do. I wanna tell you because I don't want you to tear your own. But sometimes when I cut it short like this, I like to tape it down because I like to make sure I'm getting it on nice and straight. But the tape can tear the tissue paper. So I'm gonna put it here because I really don't care if this gets torn off because I'm gonna layer right over here. This is just holding my paper in place. And then I'm going to stick some right over here on the edge of this corner. And I'm putting very little on the paper, like I said, but that is gonna allow me, I wanna make sure you guys are still in here. It's gonna allow me to kind of bend this back a little bit so we can get started. Like I said, I do have 2 coats of Slick Stick on here in white, or excuse me, I said Slick Stick. Bonding Boss. It hasn't been called Slick Stick for like over a year. Let's see. I thought so too, Jennifer. Like all of the detail, well, you'll see when we get to paint it. All of the detail, I feel like it just goes with this paper so well. Hey, Amy, good to see you. The decoupage papers, so these are Elsie Lane decoupage papers, and I do not sell them directly, but I do have an affiliate link. I'm actually part of her creative team. So if you click that link, you can actually get these papers through the link, and it is in the description there. Any of the other products we're using tonight, I do have my website. Thank you for asking me these questions, Denise, because I mean to tell people every time. We're going to be using, by the way, our regular decoupage gel. Absolutely my favorite medium for decoupaging. And I'm hoping that I have enough in here because I'm not quite sure right offhand where my other 2 are. And I definitely, I'm going to do this with the smaller brush because I don't want to waste any of this. I should probably get up and locate another jar right quick, but I don't want to take the time out to do that. So I'm going to use a smaller brush so I don't waste any of this gel, and we're going to get started. But in the description are all the links for where you can get these papers. Great deals on these papers too. They come in multiple sizes, all that good stuff. So I'm going to start off with maybe like a 1 to 2 inch line up here going across the top. And I want to, so this, by the way, this is not fiber paper. So we do want to, work pretty quickly, and we don't want to overwork it. I'm going to put a little extra up here. I'm just going to go over the edge because I don't want that too off. And then before I lay our paper down, I'm actually going to grab some saran wrap because that's what we're going to smooth this out with. And I'm just going to put it in a nice loose little ball here. And then I'm going to stand up. And I'm going to kind of bend my paper back. Remember, it's being held in place. And I'm going to kind of stretch it out so I can get it right on the edge here. All right. So I do definitely not like to use my fingers with this paper because it is not quite, hopefully I'm not in the camera, but I just need to see. I'm working from the middle, going down and over so that I can get all of these wrinkles out. This is already starting to dry. So you can dab a little bit with this paper. Like I said, I don't like to rub too much with it. And with this paper, one thing that I've noticed is it'll look like it's going to have some wrinkles, but once it dries up completely, it is perfectly fine, no wrinkles. So let me pull this up. So I am, like I said, I ripped off just a little bit there. If you're careful, like I didn't rip any over here, but it is easy to do. So now that we've got this part done, we're gonna come in and we're gonna do like another 1 to 2 inches here. You don't wanna go too much at one time because it is easy to run out of work time, and we're just gonna lay it back down here. Just wanna lay it out and run it right down the middle there. And I'm starting in the middle, getting that wrinkle out. Just getting it pushed over. Can you guys see? Yes. I just wanna make sure I am not in the way. You're gonna push any of those air bubbles out, any wrinkles that you might have. I like to kind of get down and look at it from the side so I can really make sure that they're all out. You want to pay attention to not to go too far up and over what you were already working on, because you don't want to while it's starting to dry. I'm going to overlap a little bit here. There we go. And then we're just going to bring it back down. Kind of hold it tight. Drop it down. And again, right there in the middle, not too much pressure. Just rub that out to the side. I've got a few little air bubbles in here. I'm just getting those out so they don't make any wrinkles. And I'm going to dab here because I don't want to rip I just did it. I knew it. I was trying to work with that wrinkle too much. Okay, so watch what I did. I just ripped my paper. It's not a huge deal. Watch this. I'm going to dig out the part that I ripped. And I'm going to make sure this is nice and flat and solid. And that is exactly what I was avoiding right there. But that's okay. It's not a huge deal. I want to be wrinkle-free more than I'm concerned about that. Especially when I do a tabletop. Guys, I just do not like wrinkles. All right? And another issue is my saran wrap right here, right? I'm going to be really gentle around that area. But guys, my saran wrap right here is I need to swap it out. And I need to swap it out because I have got a buildup of decoupage gel on here. I'm going to dab right there. And it's getting sticky. So that's the issue that I just had right here. Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I have that wrinkle out. And I'm going to grab another piece of saran wrap before I go any further. And just loosely ball that up. And we're going to lift this back up. You guys, and this is usually the part, I'm not even going to lie to you, and I want to do it right now, where I just throw a bunch of this on here and go for the rest of the thing. But I'm not going to be impatient. Okay. It's very light. Push those air bubbles out. When you see me dabbing, it's because I have a larger air bubble and I want to get it out without ripping my paper. So I'm kind of dabbing so that it sticks down and pushes that air through. And I'm focusing a lot. Guys, I did not iron my paper. So I'm focusing a lot on getting that middle wrinkle minimized and out of the paper. So you can steam your paper, you can put parchment paper over it and iron it. This side's already sticking down. Okay, so right here, I already stuck my paper down. I didn't get over here to work with it in time, but as long as I just do a little bit of dabbing, still get those wrinkles out, keep your paper nice and intact. All right, and now we're going back to our last little section here. I'm just gonna put this on nice and quick. And we're gonna go right in. Go out towards the edges, push those air bubbles out. Sorry guys, I keep putting my brush in my mouth because, by the way, my paper's stretched out and I am a little over the edge over here, but that is okay. Get that air bubble out there. So I will end up, even though I cut this paper to size, I will end up having to sand this side over here because my paper did stretch a bit. But that's okay because this is the only side I'm going to have to sand. And of course we're going to go down. I've got this edge. I just want to stick that down. I'm going to use Saran wrap. I'm just going to kind of wipe this excess. Or actually, I'm just going to kind of go over the edge here. All right, so when I go over the top of this, I'm doing really good as far as wrinkles go. I mainly have this one all out except for I have like one that may or may not end up being right here. We'll see once this actually dries. But for now, we are going to quickly just go over the top of this. And I don't want to work this a lot. I just want to get this top on. And like I told you guys, it's going to look like it's going to wrinkle more. But once it dries, it is going to be nice and flat. And I'll show you on this bottom part. So I've got a little thing in there. Again, very light going over. One thing I haven't tried with this paper, and I think that I am going to try, is sometimes when you decoupage, I find that I have better results when I let that bottom layer dry. And then I come back over the top with the decoupage gel instead of doing it while it's wet on the bottom. So, okay, this is where I accidentally tore my paper. So I'm going to go around there very gently Let's go. And you guys, you see I'm going slower than I normally would. But I am going to try this. I've got another project I'm getting ready to start. And I think on that one I won't be live. So I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting. But I suspect that you could make this paper come out absolutely perfect if I wait to put this top layer of the decoupage gel on. You guys, and I'm going to tell you something else. This paper with the crackles in the background is so absolutely forgiving. I just realized I have my background sound on too. Give me just a minute and I'm going to go back through and look at comments. All right, and we just got this one. I like to look off to the side so I can make sure that I'm getting this on nice and smooth. I'm going to very lightly feather over it. Oh, this is so pretty. You guys, this paper is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. All right, now, a lot of times I do like to wait until my decoupage paper is dry to layer in. But again, I want to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to do this section and then we're going to sand off the bottom. Once I sand off the bottom, I'm going to use that paper to fill in over here, but I'm going to let this dry and see how it looks once you decoupage it dry as well. So one thing about decoupaging, and one reason I do like to let my first layer dry sometimes first, is if there's a lot, like for example, this crack right here is very, very dark. It is going to show through. It's going to be covered, but it's going to show through this paper because it's slightly transparent. That's why you always want white underneath your paper, no matter what color it is. But one way when you're layering to have that not show through is to let this dry, take some dabs of paint, put over that, and then decoupage over the top of it. In this case, like I said, some of this is an experiment. I just kind of want to see how this does. There we go. And we're going to do this whole section at once. And see, I don't want to mess with that paper too much either, because when I'm doing that, this is still wet and it's starting to dry and it will pull off a little bit. So let's just lay this piece down really nicely. I am using my fingers here, but I don't want to. And we're just gonna bring it out. Smooth all those nice little air bubbles out. Oh, this layers fabulously. It makes zero difference. I think once I'm getting over into the wet section, yeah, I would definitely probably let this dry like I normally would before I layer it in. I don't know though. It's layered in really well. This paper, I think I'm going to have wrinkles, but then I don't. There we go. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead. Yeah, you can tell this is a slightly darker section. So we're just going to go over the top of this. Just with a little bit, not too much. All right. Now, if I would see that too, with that I was having too many wrinkles, what I can do is give this about an hour or two. I can let it dry so it kind of feels dry to the touch, but it's still maybe just a tad, tiny, not really sticky, but dry to the touch, but you can reactivate it. And that's when I could put my, oh goodness, what is it called? I just lost the name of it, guys. Oh, you know, you bake cookies on it. Parchment paper. Parchment paper over and take an iron and just iron over it. That would also iron out wrinkles if I had too many. So let's see, guys. I'm going to take a look at this here, and then I'm going to take a look at this here, and then I'm going to go in and we're going to sand off this bottom section. I, however, need to put my brush in something here because I did not bring my, I'm just misting it down with some water, and I'm actually going to wrap it in the saran wrap right quick until I am able to get off the live and wash it out. I do like to wash, the decoupage gel is super gluey, so I do like to wash it out relatively quickly. And I'm just going to take a look at this from the side here. I do have one potential wrinkle right here, and the more I mess with it, I think the worse it's going to get. And I think that's the only one I'm really seeing on here. Yep. I think it's going to come out beautifully. Oh, look at that, guys. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then once it dries, well, see, you can see at another angle, I look like I'm going to have some more wrinkles here. Again, I'm not messing with it, though. I will take a look at this. I'm going to pop you guys down. I will take a look at this a little bit in about an hour or so and see if I want to go ahead and iron it out. I felt the same way when I did the bottom. And then once I just want to get you guys down here. And then once it actually dried. And I think it was probably about a couple of hours that I checked it. Once it actually dried, hold on, guys. Like I said, I'm trying to work my new tripod. And I'm going to pop this up a little bit. And I'm going to get on the floor because we are going to deal with, yeah, see, I can tell I have a section coming out right here that is bubbling up. That happened once I put the top coat on. And I'm going to tell you what, I think the way to correct that, because I used to use a different decoupage medium, the way to correct it is to wait until that first layer dries and then decoupage on the second layer. And I will know for certain, that's probably how I'll end up doing this going forward. Let's see here. Because I don't want to mess with it. Yeah, I see it right here. I'm going to end up ironing this out. And I don't want to touch it because I don't want to rip it. But I couldn't even see it at the other angle. So I'm going to leave it alone, which is so hard for me to do, guys. Sometimes I have to actually cover it up so that I don't look at it. It's terrible. Let's see. I know, Denise. I am so impatient. It's ridiculous. But at the same time, sometimes it helps me because I mess something up and then I learn how to fix it. So in the long run, I'm not too upset with myself most of the time. Yeah, no, I can see it, Denise, though. I will have to iron that. That's definitely... yes, this would be so pretty on a jewelry box too. I actually have another, I'll show you one of her other ones that I have for a jewelry box too. It is so pretty. She has such amazing designs. After we sand this off, and I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but after we sand this off, and look at this, guys, though, I'm not really convinced either until this dries how it's going to look. Because I had the same situation with this paper down at the bottom, and I thought, oh gosh, I'm going to have like a horrible time getting these wrinkles out. But then once the top dried, you know what this is? Like, I don't know if this is the case or not. And that's why this weekend I'm going to try some different things. But have you guys ever decoupage with Mod Podge? It's like the number, like, it's when you go to the craft store or whatever, it's the one that everyone sees and uses. Um, when you decoupage with Mod Podge, you will end up, when you put that top coat on, so you won't have any wrinkles, and then you put the top coat on and it'll look so wrinkled, and you're like, what the heck? Or this is me anyway, and I tell you guys a lot, I'm decoupage challenged. I am. I just felt like I was no longer decoupage challenged after I used the decoupage gel, but a lot of that is with a different type of paper that I use that decoupage gel. And it works fabulous with that particular type of paper. Okay, perfect. So you've used Mod Podge. So the key to using Mod Podge and not having those wrinkles come when you put that top layer on is to let it dry on the bottom. And then once it's completely dry, then you put the top coat on. And it's perfect. And I'm going to tell you too, those are actually the directions for this decoupage paper. But I don't follow directions usually because I like to just see what happens. But I think that is going to actually be the key to use the decoupage gel with this paper. But I also want to use this paper with a clear coat because I want to see if that kind of makes a difference with it as well. So you guys, I will come back to you and let you know by next week because I'm going to be doing a ton. I'm going to show you. I'm so excited about what I got going on. Anyway, it's a good opportunity because you can learn how if you mess up your decoupage paper like I am, then you know how to fix it. So without going through the hard stuff. Oops. All right, so guys, I have a sanding block. 220 really is the best to do this with, but I have a 120 on here because, again, I'm impatient. But we're just going to go along here, and all I'm doing is sanding down to, and by the way, this sands off so much easier than the fiber paper. Thank God. And once we get that line, we're just going to go through and kind of take off the paper. This is one of the reasons why I typically do not do this also, by the way, is because I frequently go over my designated area with my decoupage gel, and then I have like areas that I really have to work on so that everything is stable and solid and all of that good stuff. So I'm just peeling off where I just sanded and I didn't have the decoupage paper on great, but I don't want any little strings hanging off because when I paint, I want my paint to go on nice and smoothly. This one Sometimes I like to have some tweezers with me when I do this because I don't want to scratch my actual paper by being too rough. And to be totally honest, sometimes I can be like a little bit like a bull in a china shop. It really has to do with my impatience though. There we go. Let's see, I want a little bit more of this off. I feel like it's not adhered on that section. I didn't want to adhere it. It was just a little excess, you know, that wasn't all the way across. There we go. So got that off. And we're just taking off this little excess right here. Tell you what, another reason I don't like this method, and I don't know if you can see it, but I've actually just distressed down through everything on the corner here. And if this situation, by the way, this was a slicker piece, which is why I used the bonding boss on it. It wasn't for bleed through. But if this was a situation and I wanted to block bleed through, I would want to go ahead and cover that up again because that could potentially bleed. That's another reason I really just don't like sanding after this. And I get a little too anal retentive with the picking off the paper that might have stuck just a little bit from that one drop of decoupage gel that I got somewhere else. And it's not about the texture. I could care less about the texture, guys. For me, this is about when I put my paint on, I want it to be stable and not come off. So I don't want to paint over something that isn't stuck to my surface super well. But that's it, guys. And I'm going to bring you in. Maybe you can see like what I'm talking about as far as this paper. I did get some wrinkles, not very many, but it covered up really, really well. So check this out in here, guys. This part is dry. So can you see how gorgeous that looks? Like, and let me see if I can feel a wrinkle. Okay, so here is actually a wrinkle. Can you guys see it? It is like so, this paper covers it so well. But, and like I said, you can see this wrinkle bad now. It's even rising more, which it wasn't even there until I put the top coat on. And like I said, that's a typical feature of like using Mod Podge or something like that. So I think the issue to correct that is really going to be wait till it dries. But I will let you guys know for certain because like I said, I'm going to play with it a lot this weekend. And we'll go from there. But I suspect that this wrinkle is actually going to go away. Kind of like the ones down here did. All right, so I'm going to go through the comments right quick, guys, and then we will be done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to tell you guys. I will be live again Wednesday night. Please don't look at my room. It is trashed. I have been my wheels are stuck here. I have been so incredibly busy with all the price changes and everything. I feel like this is going to fall over. With all the price changes and everything, I've just been incredibly busy, and I haven't picked up any of my paint or anything like that. All right, guys, so let me run through this really quick. Okay, so I think I've seen all the comments. Oh, guys, I know what I forgot to do. I'm not seeing any questions that I didn't get answered, anything like that. But, you know, the one thing about this that I don't like is I cannot, and it's why I keep messing with it, I can't lower it down. So let me do this. I'm just going to pull this around. You guys have seen me do this. If you watch me regularly, you've seen me do this a million times. I'm going to do an old world finish on this piece, coming through here and everything. So I actually just want to start adding my detail on here. In this case, I'm using Black Sands, which is a silk all-in-one mineral paint. I'm going to do this super quick, guys, like 2 minutes. It's kind of a soft black. I think it's going to match the cracks and everything that you can see right here in the background. I just want to get this into the details. This is silk, so I'm not going to miss my piece or anything like that. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on my French tip brush. And I like that brush because it's easy to get into details. The water helps it kind of flow right in. And I'm just going to scrub in here into all of these cracks and crevices. It's not going to be this color. We're actually going to go with a light color on here. I just, this is just kind of the first layer of our depth building. And all I'm doing is really getting coverage and working my paint down into all of these grooves. Once I finish this step, and I don't care if I go a little bit over onto the paper, once I finish this step, I'm actually going to be painting it, and we'll do that live, but I'm going to be painting it with sea sponges for the next coat, and then we will do probably a vinegar wash over for the final coat. But this has a lot of carved detail, guys, and I really want to bring that out. So that's it. I'm not even going to go through and do the rest because you've seen it quite a bit. It's not anything difficult. It's a quick thing. I won't paint any like flat surfaces like right around here. I'll get it in this crack and crevice. But I'm not trying to, paint the entire piece. I just want those details. And that's it. All right, guys, I just want to tell you thank you for hanging out with me this Friday and for bearing with me because this was quite the busy day, and I forgot I was live. So I had a few mistakes when I even got on here. Let's see. All right, so I'm not seeing any more comments that came up. Guys, but thanks again for hanging out. If you watch this on replay, #replay, any of these decoupage papers, you guys, I'm just going to take you off the tripod. I can't adjust it again. So I'm going to pop you off the tripod. Oh, not at all.